Don't forget that when all else fails, you can always get yourself a little treat and cry in your car in a secluded parking lot. Just don't forget that.
Hey, fun fans, it's We Enjoy doing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein in the main event today.
Woo! Our best movie we've ever done.
I have a surprising twist regarding this movie and my new rewatch of it, Eric.
Oh no,
Maybe you can
Matt.
predict it right now. Maybe you can predict it
No.
right
This movie is half the movie Wolf is. Where was the publishing intrigue to keep
now.
me excited?
If you can like and enjoy a movie like Wolf, I can enjoy oiled up Kenneth Branagh
I
and
don't know
naked
if I
Robert De Niro rolling
enjoyed
around
a
on the
movie
ground
like
together.
Wolf. I just said there were parts that worked for me versus Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Okay, well then I'll say that there are parts that worked for me in this movie. And considering when I saw this movie, very upset by it, like not great. I think I went into it thinking, hey, this is a bad movie. And I was like, hey, you know what? If you get into the craziness of it, it works on its own stupid level. And I think I enjoyed it just right on that level. It's still not great, but I found it a lot more entertaining than I think I did sitting in the theater watching it back in 1994. We're doing Mary Shelley's Frankenstein today in the main event. I guess if you reached all the way to the last episode, you would have heard us say what movie was next. That requires you actually getting all the way to the end of our chat about Wolf. And
But
as Eric said,
it's like a Marvel movie. You can't leave before the end.
we dropped it for you in the mid credits of our last episode.
That's right.
After
we
all
seeded
of
some sequels.
The backstabbing and the politicking behind the Manhattan book publishing world, we hid it in there like an Easter egg. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, directed and starring Kenneth Branagh. Today, in the main event, we are the Mattitude Eric. I am Matt Fowler. Say hello, Eric Goldman.
Hello, everyone. As I cough, and starring Kenneth Branagh's, as you mentioned, oily chest.
This is hot, sexy Victor Frankenstein with pulleys and chains and steam and vats and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Look, it's not great, but I enjoyed its goofiness this time around. And I stand by what I believe I thought in the first time I saw it, which is that there's some creature scenes with De Niro where it was effective. And he seemed to be the outlier in the cast here, and like Robert De Niro as Frankenstein's monster. And it's like, what? And he's actually, I think, effective in a few scenes. So, this is a second De Niro movie in our 90s prestige horror, as we had Cape Fear a couple episodes ago. But that movie was still not as much of a wild swing as this role was for him. That movie was a different character, but he was still a crazy killer. In this one, he's like an absolute, like, he's an abomination, Eric.
It was funny though, because I thought, Cape Fear was 91. This is 94. What did De Niro do in between? He did a couple movies in between, and he had like 5 or 6 movies in between. Like he was like a busy guy at this.
You would have think he owed the IRS millions the way he was cranking them out. So
yeah, he had Night in the City, Mad Dog and Glory, This Boy's Life, A Bronx Tale, which he directed, and a movie called Mistress I hadn't heard of. So he had like he was doing a lot.
He was doing a lot. As we were hitting the record button, Eric was singing along to the Beetlejuice theme by Danny Elfman, which reminded me, because Beetlejuice may be in our news today, reminded me that I was very, very close, Eric, to trying to nab, I should say, Danny Elfman tickets for his 2 upcoming appearances in August.
Oh, I didn't know he's doing more.
Yeah, he's doing it in Orange County and San Diego.
Oh,
and nice. I was like, maybe, but I didn't hear a peep from you, Eric, and you're like, I've seen him, so I didn't need to see anymore. That's not like you to see things.
You froze for once. A second there. What did you say? I
Oh, now you're frozen.
Hard. Oh no!
You're freezing.
We're all frozen.
You're all frozen too. A sequel I actually like more than the first one, and I know I'm in the minority. Okay.
You are, damn. You're just throwing things at me today. I don't know what
this is. Flaming hot Cheeto takes today. We've got Matt Fowler now enjoys Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, and the other thing I just said. Oh no, I said I hadn't heard a peep from you regarding the concert. So I was like, oh, I guess Eric, who never sees things more than once, doesn't want to see Danny Elfman.
No, I literally just hadn't. You're the one telling me. I mean, I've been traveling a lot the last couple weeks, and so I was in space, Matt. I wasn't looking at news. So
you're looking at space news.
I'd go see Danny Elfman with you, Matt. We never saw Oingo together, did we?
We did, Eric, we saw Oingo together.
At the Palladium.
We saw him at the Palladium without the horn section.
Yeah, that was my second time seeing them, I believe. Yeah, I saw them 3 times.
You and I saw them at the Universal Amphitheater separately.
Yes.
For different Halloween shows.
And I saw them at a tiny venue in Boston, which was fascinating.
Which is the greatest one. Proof of their sort of Southwest fandom only is when they would tour the East Coast, they would be in tiny venues. But yeah.
Yep. I was just talking to someone about Valley Girl has a live performance. I forget the artist who performs it because there's so many 80s bangers in Valley Girl, but a song that would be pretty controversial today. I mean, you can just take it for tongue in cheek or whatever, but the song Johnny Are You Queer, which I remember has a big hit, but I was talking to someone who's like, I don't remember this at all. And then I did look it up, and it was a Southern California K-Rock top songs of the year, but not.
I know that song because I would spend summers in California.
Yes.
And I was queer.
So we had like stuff like that was very specific. K-Rock being a big driving force for these like alternative bands and songs that were huge for us. And then you left our area and it was a lot of crickets, or maybe I barely know that, which was always interesting.
Well, it was always weird because I listened to bands in middle school and high school that weren't even like flying under the radar style bands. Yeah. And I still won like the yearbook award for like most musical bands no one's ever heard of. Like I got that.
Right.
And I'm like, REM? Like that doesn't make any sense.
Who is this Guns N' Roses?
Of course, by the time I was in high school, REM was a juggernaut because they had their biggest success in the early 90s. But so news flash, Eric. Danny Elfman's playing 2 more concerts. And I know that he plays a shitload of stuff. And I think it's the same deal, right? Why wouldn't it be with the
I'm guessing it is.
And the scores mixed in with the Boingo songs and his solo stuff. And
now I want to go. You made me want to go. See, you told me things. I want to go.
They're The Cure just started their North American tour here. And we're very, very tempted to see on Saturday when they're playing here, if they're just cheap lawn seats to go. Because, we were sitting this one out because like assholes, we saw them in Germany last November. Right. And it's the same tour. So it's like the set list isn't that much different except for the second encore, which as all this talk of like Bruce Springsteen, I can speak, is still out there playing 3-hour sets. And then with Taylor Swift going around the country playing her 3.5 hour sets, this Monster Eras tour she's got going on. I just want to remind everyone that The Cure is also out there playing 2.5, 3-hour sets in a very, very jam-packed tour. Like their tours aren't just like a few cities. Like they went all over Europe. They're going all over this country. Then they're headed to South America, I think, in the fall. And they're old, is what I'm saying. They're in their 60s.
They are. These
a couple of them anyway. Robert Smith and whoever may still be remaining. And then everyone else is a young buck. I always want to hear from the young bucks, not the tag team, but like the people who come on with these older established bands that I am now seeing that have been around for 40 years, like the Psychedelic Furs, who we saw last week, which is like the 2 brothers who founded the band. The singer and the bassist are still obviously in the band. And then there's another longtime member on keyboards. And then everyone else is sort of obviously 20 decades younger. And like, I don't know how long they've been playing with them. And one is like, literally looks like somebody, like they came out of AFI or some other sort of screamo band from the aughts. Mm-hmm. And because they've got that look. It's kind of like Love Burger, where everyone looks like they're from a different genre of music.
So I talked before about my appreciation for the YouTube channel Defunct Land, which does these deep dive sort of documentaries on theme park stuff. And he put out a new one out this week about the a Wiggles ride in Australia at a theme park.
At a theme. It's not Wiggles Land, but a Wiggles ride.
It was a Wiggles Land within a theme park.
Okay, the Wiggles were a big part of some of my children's upbringing, and therefore mine. So yeah.
Yeah, and I know I knew the Wiggles were a sensation, but I couldn't, and I knew the look with the shirts, but I knew very little else. And so this is like a 40-minute episode. So he goes into not only the history of the theme park where this would end up happening, which was a very funny, complete ripoff of Disneyland in Australia, but also the history of the Wiggles. And so that's how I'm learning, like, oh, the Wiggles were around way longer than I knew. And also that when one of them left, and so now it was like these three guys who were starting to like age a lot, and this younger guy, and eventually they started to swap out completely. And it became like,
did they talk about the new generation of Wiggles, which still has, I believe, Jeff?
There's one guy
and Anthony, who's sort of like kind of a cool salt and pepper, sexy guy. And
they didn't get to when they talked about when everyone left but one guy. So I don't know if another guy came back at some point.
I think Jeff may have come back, but it was Anthony was there, the blue Wiggle, and then some they had a female Wiggle come in, but then the other Wiggle, the new purple, I think, Wiggle, they were a couple, but then he cheated on her with someone else Wiggle related. What I'm saying is the Wiggles are just like Fleetwood Mac.
Oh no, they
continue to be in the band together, and actually wrote their best music during that tumultuous period. They wrote their Rumors.
Because the guy who does the Funkle is very funny, and I tweeted out how he had a great line in this episode where he says things about like nothing makes you face your own mortality by being a Wiggle. He's like talking about all the drama with them. So
the Wiggles are like the Menudos, right? Where they just swap them out too.
Now that's what it eventually became. Yeah.
Well, Eric, there's Daisy the dinosaur. There's Captain Feathersword.
Well, the funny thing they talked about is because they started to swap band members, they had to keep changing both the imagery and the in-ride video. They had to keep updating it. They didn't have to, but I guess they wanted to, so the kids wouldn't be thrown. So it was this ever-changing signage of like the Wiggles, and it was fascinating.
I remember the first Wiggle to leave, the first Wiggle out, which was Yellow Wiggle. I believe his name was Greg because he had health issues, and then there it all. Then it just all.
I can tell you all about this now.
As Wiggle historians here.
Right.
By the way, whoever got the Love Burger reference a few minutes ago, you win a golden Oreo. That's your
I knew the term Love Burger, but I can't place it for my life right now.
Speaking of the word can't place it, it's from a movie called Can't Hardly Wait. The band in Can't Hardly Wait with Breckenmeyer and Donald Faison. The gimmick of the band Love Burger is that every member, there's 4 members, and they're all dressed like they're part of a different genre of music. And then the joke throughout the movie is that none of them ever start playing a song because they keep arguing. Breckenmeyer is like all gouged out, and Faison is like in a country western outfit.
This is before they were du jour in Josie and the Pussycats, a movie that Matt refuses to ever watch.
I refuse. If the movie's not Mary Shelley's Frankenstein,
some of the same people in another funny band, another funny movie. By the way, I'm currently looking at Danny Elfman tickets. We will not be getting the $608 each ticket. If that's
the type of ticket I bought for, and that's not even resale, that I bought for when we went and saw Depeche Mode. But that was different circumstances. Those were very special circumstances that I shan't be doing again.
Shan't be doing.
All right, let's get into it. Entertainment news is actually kind of light this week. We're just going to do a quick whoopsie daisy, which is we didn't know when we were. I mean, it was true when we talked about it. But
no, it was true. We talked about it. And also, Alan Sepinwall is the person I saw tweet this news, and as he mentioned, we've gotten used to, especially the last couple of years, unrenewing has become the very hip, unfortunate thing. You thought we were giving you more of it?
Nope. I'm going to talk about a big unrenewing later on that I'm still pissed off about when I do my good thing to enjoy. But so
unrenewing is happening more and more. Uncanceling has always been rare, which is not another network or another streaming service saving a show, but literally the same people who just canceled it saying, you know what, we are going to bring you back. But it did happen for
April
SWAT.
Fools, never mind.
We don't have much to say about it because we've never seen SWAT, but it just because we happen to mention, if you listen to our last episode where we talked about the writer's strike, and we talked about just the new economics of Hollywood, and we talked about SWAT getting canceled, even though it was a big hit show that was doing better this season, and how that was a very sign of the times. They reconsidered and they uncanceled it. So I mostly put it on here just because
we'll also add that they brought it
after.
back for a final season.
A 13-episode final season, yes.
Yeah, so shortened final season, but at least it's getting something.
A shortened final season, but still by CBS terms, shortened final season, because Netflix, you're never going to see a 13-episode season again. So these times have changed.
And what was Nikita's final season?
6.
6. Okay, yeah. So they're lucky to get 13, which is just basically an average season right now. I wasn't sure. I couldn't find any information of how many episodes were supposed to be in this Night Court first season until, as the episodes come in, they're like part 1 of the season finale. I'm like, okay, I guess there are 16 episodes because
I think it might have had 13, and then I remember they ordered a couple more.
They ordered more, perhaps, yeah. But watched that, cried. Night Court makes me cry. Or Marsha Warfield showed up at the end.
You are an easy cry, but I do like the Night Court. I mean, I'm way behind, but I do want to see Roz's return.
Well, I don't know if it's worth it for most everything else on the show than Roz's very, very quick, like 30-second return or something like that. Anyway, Dan Larroquette is very tall, and what's her name is very small. What's her name from Big Bang Theory?
Kaylee. No, that's not.
No. Michelle Roche.
Michelle or Marissa Roche. Yeah, it's a Roche.
Something like that. I think
we weren't big bangers. We didn't watch that show.
I'm gonna be talking about Big Bang Theory again later on the podcast when I get to my good thing to enjoy.
You got all. I don't know where you're going with all this stuff.
Anyway, so yeah, SWAT has been uncanceled. So SWAT, all you SWAT heads out there can celebrate and rejoice at the news that you'll be getting more SWATs.
Remember in the SWAT movie where they hummed the theme song from the SWAT TV show in a strange meta, like, what's this theme mean to them? Like, what is this that they're humming? Is it just a popular song? Like, what is their relation to this theme that they're humming?
It just all hit them. It just all struck them sort of,
because I think the movie they were playing, like, they used the character names from the TV show, so it wouldn't make sense for them to be like, that's a show we know. Because I don't know if they ever explained.
Well, there's a deleted scene where they said, do you realize that we all have the same names as our favorite TV show? And that's
I did forget that they talked about the SWAT multiverse within that film.
Beetlejuice 2 has a release date right now, which is September 6th, 2024. Tim Burton is going to direct it. Soon. Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton is returning as the titular Beetlejuice. It happens to also, at least previously, share the same release date as Blade, but now that movie's been delayed in pre-production, we don't know if that'll still be true. And Jenna Ortega, who has now sort of, I don't know, she's saddled up to all of our like brunette crushes from years ago, from decades ago, like Christina Ricci and Winona Ryder. Right. And she is now officially playing.
If she does a project with Jennifer Connelly, it's just going to be a sweep.
So she can't play Lydia Dietz the way that she played Wednesday Addams in the Wednesday TV show that Tim Burton did. But she can sure play the daughter of Lydia Dietz.
She can.
Which she will be playing.
Returning in this movie is also in this film.
Yeah, and hopefully Catherine O'Hara would be too.
No, she is. I don't know if you saw that today.
I didn't.
Because Monica Bellucci is in it. Maybe has Beetlejuice's wife. And Catherine O'Hara is back. Not Jeffrey Jones. If you don't know why, Google.
Yeah, Jeffrey Jones that is thankfully been written out.
There is reasons to not bring him back. And I think ghosts don't age, so I'm sure they just live in a different house in the Maitlands. Even if it wasn't all weird with Alec Baldwin right now, that would be too much of a technical thing to deal with those ghosts. I'm excited this is finally happening. It's one of those crazy things where, wow, it's finally happening, and that everyone's on board. Like, you know, that when they were going to do Beetlejuice Goes to Hawaii decades ago, that would have been like just Keaton coming back. This sounds like much more of like an actual sequel.
They weren't able to do any of this until a Jenna Ortega arrived on the scene.
Right.
They couldn't bring back Wednesday Addams.
They had this character of Lydia's daughter, but they didn't have an it girl, no one for playing horror movie roles and gothy things to do it.
Yeah. So everything's aligned now, and Beetlejuice doesn't have to go Hawaii too.
Right.
It doesn't have to be Hawaiian style.
That was a real thing, guys. I mean, there's been a million Beetlejuice sequels they've tried to do through the years, but that was like a kind of infamous one. Jenna Ortega is great. And obviously she and Tim Burton are reuniting here because they did Wednesday together, but it feels very like on the nose to cast her as like Lydia's daughter, to the point that I hope that it's
I hope she's like a cheerleader, though.
She's not goth. Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, I hope she's like a peppy
block. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's
kind of like when he put Winona in Edward Scissorhands and subverted the image he'd helped cultivate with her.
Yeah.
In that, so the blonde wig is coming on.
Well, so it was cool, even though the show I wasn't too hot on, but like Wednesday, it was cool that she got to act with Christina Ricci, because Christina Ricci had a part on that show, so she'll get to act with Winona Ryder here, and so she's not just supplanting them; she gets to co-star with them. And my ex-wife looked like a cross between Christina Ricci and an actress we'll be talking about in a few minutes here, Helena Bonham Carter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I have to say about those two actresses. She did not look like Winona Ryder.
Yes,
I don't think. Maybe a little. Who knows?
Both part of the. Well, I mean, obviously, Helena Bonham Carter was very much part of the Burton crew, but they were both Burton players.
Yes. Was she with Tim Burton right after Kenneth Branagh, or was there anyone in between for her?
I don't know.
She was with Burton for a while.
She was with Burton for a while, but he was with Lisa Marie before that.
That's right.
I feel like there might have been some in between time there. I don't know who she would have dated.
I'll have to go to her Wikipedia page and click on personal life and find out.
Yes.
We'll talk about the Branagh Bonham Carter elements in Frankenstein a little bit. All right. So Beetlejuice 2 has a release date. It's exciting. I hope it is a movie worth the wait, because Beetlejuice doesn't need a sequel. But
it doesn't need a sequel. It is funny though that Michael Keaton, he's playing Batman in a movie opening, and
all of his old Tim Burton roles are coming back.
Yeah. So it's.
I hope Beetlejuice is in The Flash. Honestly.
Oh yeah, I mean Warner Brothers. Look, they can do whatever they want. They did Space Jam 2. They put every character they ever had in that movie. So
including the rapist from Clockwork Orange.
Oh yeah, they were all in there. They were all in there for that basketball.
The Droogs, which
very
means
excited. Pennywise was in that basketball game.
Yeah, Droog means friend in Russian, whereas Jub means friend in space.
Yeah.
So, all right. Where are we at? I guess we got a few write-ins here. Okay. Joe wrote in on Patreon. I don't know if this was referring to something we were talking about, or if he's having a bit of a laugh, or if it's a genuine question. I'll let you decide, Eric. Hey, did Jack Nicholson do his own stunts for Wolf?
I'm guessing
that was him leaping. That was him leaping the whole time.
Yeah, not only was it him leaping, but he actually managed to stay in the air that long while she was firing all those bullets at him. Oh, that was Spader.
That was Spader.
So they both
learned from Nicholson.
Yeah.
He learned.
Yeah, they both did their own stunts, and they both.
By the way, there's also a weird, unnecessary leap in Frankenstein 2. It was the era of bizarre jumping. Okay,
sure.
Michael writes in on Patreon, and this is a reminder to everyone that you can join our Patreon. You can become a Hudson Hawk and get our bonus episodes. We did one for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 and talked for about an hour about how much it made us cry almost nonstop. Okay. Michael writes in on Patreon, Coppola's Dracula never really worked for me either, partly because of the miscasting. Who would have been a good, if we were to recast Jonathan Harker, who would have been a good recast of Harker in 92? Maybe a young Guy Pearce could have handled the role better. I don't know.
I mean, hell, put Carrie Elways is in that movie in that role.
Yes, Carrie Elways was right there, literally two people away. He
literally was there
from Harker, or any of them, any of those other three. I mean, I don't know what Billy
even
Campbell's
Richard E. Grant.
Richard E. Grant's right there too.
Right.
Sure, young Guy Pearce. I don't know what Guy Pearce did before L.A. Confidential. Maybe
he did Priscilla, Queen of the Desert.
Oh, that's right, he did. I did see that.
with what's his name, with the Matrix dude, the Red Skull, Weaving.
Hugo Weaving. I wish young Guy Pearce played Jonathan Harker like his role in Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. That would have just since so many of the people in that movie seem to be in different movies, it would have worked. All right. Next week, our final entry into the 90s prestige horror run, a movie I really like, a TV show I like even better that I recommended previously. Mm-hmm. Interview with the Vampire, Neil Jordan's Interview with the Vampire, starring Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, will be our main event next week. And just like Frankenstein, you can only rent it unless you already own it. Or you can just listen to us talk about it, like some people have written.
That's one of those movies that you'd think would. I mean, because it was a big. It's a well-regarded. Unlike Wolf, unlike Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, like Interview with the Vampire is a very
but well-liked movie. Also because there's a new
series. A TV show. You just, even though I know it's different owners, you just think you could find that easier. I mean, again, yes, you can rent or buy it.
But the fact that there's going to be a third now Anne Rice series because there's Interview with the Vampire, and by the way. The Anne Rice novels are its own MCU. They're all a verse. It's all
and AMC bought it all outright, so it's like they can do this.
I don't remember the name of the Alexandra Daddario witches.
Mayfair Witches.
So, Mayfair. That's it. You're right. So yeah, there's Interview with the Vampire, Mayfair Witches, and then some other shit coming up.
Yeah.
Okay, it's actually called Some Shit.
Oh shit.
Let's do our good things to enjoy, and then we'll leap into the main event. Next week's Interview with the Vampire. Eric, what is your good thing to enjoy for this week? We didn't do one last week for the Wolf episode. We had to get to Wolf so quickly because it was Eric's favorite movie. So yeah,
we had to get to Wolf. I'm going to do a little physical media corner here first and say that I have been going through the new Superman 4K collection that they put out. The first Superman with Christopher Reeve was put on 4K a few years ago, but never the sequels. Now there is a new set out of the 4 Superman movies starring Christopher Reeve in 4K. Which, are diminishing returns as far as the movies themselves are concerned. We grew up with them, so we have nostalgia for them. I think by 4, though, we were like, this is a bad movie, even as kids.
Well, it was like, going into, I recently watched a documentary that talked about those movies and what happened with Canon Films and the 4th movie. And how its budget was slashed and they had to use places in England to stand in for Times Square.
Looks super cheap compared to
it's
the
all
other
terrible.
Ones. But these movies, new 4K transfers, except for the first, which already had a 4K transfer, but they look great. I actually was popping in my Blu-rays compared to them and seeing ooh, this is so pretty and nice. Obviously, you're still going to get, these are older movies, so they won't look like, a recent movie in 4K, but they look great. They're really fun to go back to. My only gripe is, and I do hate when they do stuff like this. There was a box set that Warner Brothers put out of all Superman movies about 12 years ago. And that one was the 4 Reeves movies. And I should say 5, because both these sets have the Richard Donner cut of, so there's actually a 5th movie, because it's such a different movie, Richard Donner cut of Superman 2. But that old Blu-ray set also had Superman Returns, and it had the special edition of the first Superman. Neither of those are included on this, and that's lame. I know Superman Returns, it's it's not Christopher Reeve, but because it was a pseudo sequel and it never had a sequel, it feels like if you're going to put it in any set, this would be the one.
Oh, for sure. It was supposed to be connected to the first 2 movies.
Right. Yeah. And then the special edition's a bummer, just because it's a different cut of the movie, and B, it's the one that had Richard Donner's commentary, because the theatrical cut has the one of the producers who he hates, and they hate him, and they fired him off the movie, and that's why Superman 2 became a mess. So it's just annoying that we know that stuff is out there, but they didn't do that. That aside, these look really good, except for Superman 2 Richard Donner cut, because that always looked a little wonky with the way they had to finish it, and they didn't upgrade the effects. So there's some stuff that doesn't look great on that from the 2006 or whatever digital effects on it. But the rest look very good.
I saw you saw this on Twitter already, but when they brought the Goonies kids to Richard Donner's vacation.
Oh my God, it's so good.
He's trying to get away from the kids.
And Jeff Cohen, obviously was cast as Chunk as a reason. It's Dick, we're going to stay with you the whole time. He's joking, but it's pretty great. So
I hate pranks, but that was pretty good.
It was a good prank. Steven Spielberg is behind that prank. Anyway, so I recommend the Superman 4K set. My actual new recommendation of new stuff to watch is although we don't always have to do new stuff, we do old stuff all the time. But my other recommendation is a new series that's been out for a few weeks on Amazon Freevee, which is Jury Duty on Freevee, which I see. I'm very happy to see people have been like discovering. I see more people tweeting about it because when the reviews came out, people were more like kind of like, at least the reviews I was seeing from people we know were like, pretty ho-hum, but I really liked it. And I was a little I don't know if I was biased. I mean, Cody Heller is one of the EPs, and I've known Cody since she was born, but I don't know her like great, so I didn't have to like this show. But I really did like this show, and I'm happy that a lot of people seem to be really digging it now. I'm seeing people tweeting about it. If you've seen ads, or if you're people talking about it, or if you've seen it, the shorthand here is, if anyone remembers the Joe Schmo show from 20 years ago, this is kind of a new version of that, which is sort of a pseudo reality prank show, which is to say, this one guy thinks he's doing a documentary about being on a jury, hence why there would be cameras as he's doing this, and that everyone signed off on, like, okay, we're going to let, access we've never given, is like the whole pretense of what's happening here to what it's like to be on a jury. But really, he's the only real person, and every single other person involved, every other jury member, the bailiff, security at the courthouse, the judge, the defendant, and the prosecutor, every lawyer, the people involved in this.
So you're saying everyone,
all actors. Everyone is an actor.
Saying everyone.
Everyone is an actor.
So like the third person behind the prosecutor sitting on the bench.
Yes.
And like the guy selling peanuts, they sell peanuts like at a ballpark, right? Like in a trial, like
pretty much, because they sequester them, and the only time that they go out is together to environments where they've pretty much planted people everywhere. So pretty much everyone he's encountering during this is an actor. And anyway, it's really funny. B, it's not mean-spirited. They kind of went out of their way clearly to cast a really nice, good person. And to make sure that the show doesn't end with like, you're a loser.
Well, also you got to be careful. Like, you cast somebody and then like 3 weeks into the shoot, they're like, let me tell you about these pedophile pizza rings.
Right. Very true. Right.
Like, and they're like, oh no, our show.
But and then the big funny part of it, and the person who's been promoting it because of who he is James Marsden, has himself playing James Marsden, spoiled actor stuck on a jury that he's trying to get out of, and just being a total dick, and being like, wants everyone to recognize him, and just a total douchebag. And he's very funny. It's very funny because he guest stars on Party Down's new season, playing a pretentious actor, not James Marsden, but this is like a thing he's doing right now. He's very funny. He's a big part of the show. I thought it was great. All the other actors are, fairly unknown, which they'd have to be, except for one of them is Kirk Fox. And if you don't know his name, you'd absolutely know him if you see him, because he's been on Community and Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and he's a recurring role in Reservation Dogs. He's on a lot of shit, to the point he's the only other person besides James Marsden to have a Wikipedia page among the cast. And I was like, oh, he was a risk, but I guess they did vet that this guy was not into pop culture.
He's like, what's TV? Yeah. Are you into the MCU?
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know, but I see you.
But anyway, it's very funny. Liked it a lot. Think Marsden's great. And the final episode, they kind of really go into some of how they did it, which I would have liked even more of, but I loved what we got about sort of the production aspect. Anyway, I quite like Jury Duty, and it's on Freevee, which is what's it called? The Fast Channel. It's
on a Fast Channel,
but it's through Amazon. So you watch it through Amazon, but it's not considered Prime. Anyway, so it has ads. You should watch it. It's fun.
I've heard it's fun. I heard about the James Marsden of it. I've also, immediately also someone like you think of Joe Schmo Show, which only ran, I think it was 2 seasons that show.
I think it was a third, actually. I thought it was 2.
Well, no, it came back later. Didn't it come back years later? And
I just remember that Ralph Garman, who we knew from the Kevin and Bean show here in LA, was the host, and in the second season he was the British host. They changed up everything about it.
It's a thing where like you can't do it. It's a special event, right? It's like an attraction, because you do have to. And there were things, I think, even in the second season where they're like, they're gonna figure it out. Because you have to be ridiculous. You have to be silly enough that it's an entertaining show, but you also can't go too over the top. I'm assuming it's like that with Jury Duty, that you blow it and the guy figures it out that they're on the Truman Show, right? Like that they
what Marsden said. I was watching an interview with him on Colbert that was really interesting, because he said, some really ridiculous things happen, right? And of course he is mentioning this is a crazy trial with crazy people, but Marsden says the thing we don't air is that we would do like 3 hours in a row of boring trial, so he's not like every minute's crazy.
That's such crazy dedication to
right. It was 3 weeks, and so that like they would do like stuff they don't air, that just to be like, this is a boring trial and we're yammering on, and then something ridiculous will happen. But I also saw someone say, hey, you have to think from this guy's point of view, it's very hard to think this is all for me, that it's like,
right. Well, and the other thing is you have to leave, if this was a recurring type of reality show, someone's going to suspect. So again, you can't
do
unwrap this package like too frequently, or you ruin it for everyone. So
unless you filmed it before it aired, you have to film more seasons.
Right. Jury Duty, sounds fun. It's like The Game, but with less pretending people die.
Or is there?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. Apparently crazy stuff. Okay, so my recommendation is also a streaming show. It is called Mrs. Davis, and it is almost at the end right now of this season. I think it's like a limited series. I don't know how it's going to keep going based on the story that it's telling. And it's on Peacock. It's got 1 episode left, and that makes it 8 episodes, and it's from Damon Lindelof, who we love from The Leftovers and Watchmen and Lost and a lot of other things that we like, actually, and maybe the nerd fans out there don't like him for. But Damon Lindelof created this show with Tara Hernandez, who was a writer for Big Bang Theory, and mention it later. I was going to mention it later. And the 2 main stars of the show are Betty Gilpin, who we love from Glow, and that's the uncancellation.
It's all coming together.
Yes.
And who had worked together with Lindelof on The Hunt.
Yes, which I haven't seen. Did you like it?
Oh, I quite enjoyed The Hunt. The movie seemed to split people. I enjoyed The Hunt, but I think everyone agreed Betty Gilpin's fucking awesome in that movie, and she is just so great and kick-ass in that movie. You should watch it, if nothing else, just for her, even though I think you might enjoy the movie as I did.
Yes, I enjoy Betty Gilpin on Glow. I enjoyed the hell out of her on this show, and so I assume I would also love her in The Hunt. And also Jake McDorman, who's been in a bunch of different things.
He's Limitless.
He is Limitless. I did not see that show, but I did see a few episodes of the Right Stuff series that they just recently did a few years back for Disney Plus, and where he played Alan Shepard. And anyway, I've been trying to figure out how to sell this show. Now, the way that they've sold this show is that it's like this nun versus an AI that has taken over the world, like an Alexa that now exists, that think of Person of Interest, if Samaritan took over everything, and just sort of anyone can speak to this AI at any time, and it speaks in a comforting female voice, and in different countries they call it different things. So in America it's named Mrs. Davis, which I don't know if that's a reference to the fact that that's Andy's mom in Toy Story, or anything else that I'm not aware of, but in England they call it mum, and so on and so forth. And so it's billed as sort of this nun versus is like one of the last remaining civilized holdouts against this AI and refuses to interact with it. But that's kind of only part of this story. It's a Holy Grail hunt story, and it is crazy and kooky, and it has its own tone that I imagine also would be a very hard sell. The closest thing I come to when I describe it to other people is Preacher. Preacher, I guess the comic, but mostly the TV series that was just out recently. And man, recently, what was it? Probably 5 years on now that the show's been gone. But it's that sort of irreverence, maybe less R-rated and less violent, but it is still R-rated and violent, but perhaps less so. And it's got a ton of like famous faces who pop in and out. Some have bigger roles than others. So it's got like Margot Martindale, it's got David Arquette, Elizabeth Marvel, Ben Chaplin, Christian Antopoulos. I can't say his name. The guy He's a famous voice actor who was also in an episode of Hannibal. He's a very funny guy, but can also do drama. But anyway, it's a bizarre globetrotting adventure that's very funny and very quirky. And it's this show is like the epitome of a televisual uphill climb as far as tone and streaming service, which is Peacock. And the fact that it opened with 4 episodes, which I'm not opposed to, except that they're all about an hour. Right. That's I get why streamers like put out.
Didn't they did 3 or 4 for Poker Face, and I thought that was weird.
It's just hard because you do want to like give people a little more taste, I understand, than the premiere. But then if you miss a week, you're already 4 hours behind.
Yeah.
It's just harder to even catch up when there's 4. And where episode 4 ends, I kind of see why that was a stopping point, but it's still a lot. Anyway, the episodes are about 4 hours. 7 episodes have aired so far. The finale airs next week. I look forward to my Mrs. Davis every week. I've only got one more week left, and I really think it's a great time. The thing is, I don't want to like tell you where it goes or what the reveals are and how it works, because that's the joy of the show, is figuring out what the fuck is going on most of the time.
Sure. And
in true Lindelof fashion, you will see things and be like, well, what the hell was that about? And then a couple episodes later, it'll be explained. It's like everything sort of circles back always, and it doesn't leave you hanging in that way. But Betty Gilpin and Jake Majoran play these 2 people who have known each other since childhood and were a couple at one point, but no longer. And now there's this new AI run world. I'll spoil one thing, which is very funny, is that like in the same way that Damon Lindelof and Tom Peralta, I can't remember who wrote The Leftovers book, who was also part of the creative force of the show, had to imagine, well, what would happen if 2% of the world disappeared? What would it mean for this? What would it mean for that? And then they sort of like lightly, whimsically predict what kind of crazy things might occur.
Yeah.
They do that here too with Mrs. Davis. It's like, well, what would an AI run world 10 years in look like?
Right.
And it's like, well, what if magicians didn't exist anymore? Like the entire profession of being a magician is gone because anyone can ask Mrs. Davis at any time how a trick is done.
Right.
And Mrs. Davis will just tell them. And so it's like they postulate like that. And it's really funny to find out where everything sort of lands in this world. So I recommend Mrs. Davis. Very fun.
Well, I want to watch that show.
All right. Let's get into my new favorite movie, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Let me tell you the first thing I wrote here after Frankenstein in 36 size font. I wrote, not as bad as Wolf.
I absolutely disagree on that one.
I wish you could get on the Frankenstein train, Eric, because if you just go with the absolute overwrought, self-important insanity of this vanity project.
I'm on Team Darabont on this one.
Oh man. Look, I fully admit that it's not a good movie, but again, I feel like there is a wavelength you could tap into this with. As far as a horror movie goes, these all dabble in and out of horror. Like there's gruesome murders. Some movies we've done are gorier than others. Wolf was probably the least gory and the least horror.
Yeah.
There's some disturbing shit in this movie that is created for the movie that is not in Mary Shelley's book at the end. I understand stepping back from it. There's some ridiculous aspects to it, but it's also really fucked up, like what happens. But I guess I wanted to actually open the conversation about Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
Which is to say, Kenneth Branagh has had a steady career since the mid 80s to now, still now working, just recently won an Oscar even after all this time. Actually, he may have previously won Oscars for screenplays, but he just won for Belfast, which he directed. And he's been acting, but mostly also directing a lot of things you may not have even known he directed in the past few years. But most recently, he is behind and starring in the Poirot movies that are getting a third movie coming, The Haunting in Venice, which is coming out in the fall.
But really, I mean, I remember when Henry V made him a thing.
That was the thing. And I don't know what it was like for you, Eric. You had just left or were leaving New York around that time.
Mm-hmm.
But like Branagh and Shakespeare, like everyone was seeing anything Branagh did. His Henry V was a sensation. He comes from obviously a full Shakespearean background, not even more so than a lot of Brits. He's just embedded in Shakespeare so much that it's almost a part. Like he broke big with Henry V, but that was far from his last foray into Shakespeare. Because if you even look at Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, it's like he took a brief break from doing Shakespeare movies to do Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, because he did Henry V, and then right before Frankenstein, he did Much Ado About Nothing. Now, if we're talking about miscast Keanu Reeves in the early 90s.
Back-to-back years.
Back-to-back with that and Dracula.
Yeah.
And then he went right from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein almost into his very well-received also Hamlet in 96. And then he would come back with Love Labor's Lost in 2000.
Not well-received.
It was for people who, for our listeners, we should say, he directed Thor in the MCU.
Right.
He also, I didn't know this until I looked at the list, directed Jack Ryan's Shadow Recruit, which was the Jack Ryan wannabe reboot movie that never created a full new franchise with Chris Pine.
Mm-hmm.
And Belfast was a big Oscar darling a couple years back. And he's did the live action Cinderella movie. He did Artemis Fowl for Disney Plus. Anyway, he's a working man who has never stopped working. But at the time, between Henry V and even Peter's Friends, and then Dead Again, which is a movie I really dug early on.
I love Dead Again. I had not seen Henry V, but I love Dead Again. Is like probably my favorite movie he's directed. I really
Dead Again is a lot of fun, and it starred, and he and Emma Thompson at the time too, who was also in Henry V in a sort of a smaller role, were an it couple at the time. Until Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, when he famously cheated on Thompson with Helena Bonham Carter, and then was with Helena Bonham Carter until like 99 or 2000 or something like that. They were a couple.
And Helena Bonham Carter, was thinking about her and her career. This was her first big studio movie, because she'd been working for a while, but 2 years before, she was in Howard's End, and that was kind of like put her on the map. Because Howard's End
she was a Merchant Ivory darling,
yes, but Howard's End, because that was a big deal, like, on the art house scene, the Oscars, and now Mary Shelley's Frankenstein became her first like big studio movie, and not that she'd keep doing them all the time, but then she'd start going back and forth and do pop in to these studio movies, and then I
wonder how Dead Again holds up. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Same here. Yeah.
We should do, next time we have a break, we should do Dead Again.
Mm-hmm.
Which he also stars in. He tends to star in the things he directs. Not always, obviously, not Thor, but he is certainly playing the hell out of Poirot in these new movies.
He is, and he's certainly playing the hell out of Victor Frankenstein.
Oh my God. And you know what? The thing about Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile and stuff like that is that obviously this aspect is turned up to 11 or 12 for Frankenstein, which is that like he's not a subtle director. He never has been. You could blame it on
theatrical. One could say.
I was saying like you could blame it on the Shakespearean ness, the element there that he was rooted in. But I don't even think Shakespeare can explain fully what's going on in Frankenstein and the tone and tenor of this movie, which is so loud and bombastic, and
everything's cranked to 11. I had forgotten two things. One thing I forgot that I was reminded of last week when I was looking at the wiki page was the Darabont of it all. And then the other thing was I forgot that Coppola produced this, that, this movie obviously exists because Bram Stoker's Dracula was a hit 2 years before. Let's do it again with Frankenstein, put the author's name in the title even to make them seem like it's a franchise, even though it's not, and have Coppola produce it. Yeah. I forgot that it was that connected, but Darabont's funny because Matt mentioned this last week. Darabont's like, really disown this movie, even though his name is on it, and which often happens when you're writing but you're not the director, especially if you're Darabont and sometimes you do direct and you have way more control. That this movie is not at all what he had in his mind when he was writing it. But I did think it is funny for Darabont because this movie opens like 6 weeks after Shawshank Redemption. So Darabont, even though that movie was not like a huge box office hit, it was so, critically acclaimed and people adored it who were going to see it. And then 6 weeks later, and one of the reasons I was excited about this movie was Darabont was writing it. And then this movie comes out. And this was a very hyped movie. I had the poster up for this movie, Matt, in my dorm.
I remember rewatching this movie, the specific moments that were in the trailer, because we saw the trailer so much for this. Like, no one need ever die and all that stuff. And then we should also mention, of course, or remind people that Branagh and Bonham Carter would go on to be notable Harry Potter characters, like most Brits.
Yes. I mean, yeah, you got. I mean, Ian Holmes in this movie, of course, would become part of the Lord of the Rings franchise.
Shirtless, bloody Ian Holmes. Don't bury the lead
for no fucking reason. Oh no, my wife's in labor. Tear that shirt off. I guess we know where his son
I don't want to ruin this shirt.
I know his son got it. Where he's like, oh, it's time to do some big bring something to life.
By the way, I feel like that's the most unsafe stairwell ever, because it's so steep and there's no railing. And it's also the perfect place for people to cry and scream.
I quite enjoyed the production design of that staircase, and it looks like it's out of like a picture book, like it's so over wide and the background, the way it looks. Because I don't like this movie. I don't like how it's directed, and I don't like how it looks. It is interesting because, of course, you can't. It's so kind of hand
I don't like how it smells. I don't like its attitude.
It's hand in hand with Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is a movie I don't think fully works, but I can appreciate on like a production design level and the look of it. And I was talking about how people still like to the costumes from it and everything really stand out. And I think it's like, look, Branagh. It's not like Branagh doesn't. He knows what he's doing as far as like he's going bigger than life. He's going like, it's not like he's like, I think this is totally toned down. I just don't think he nails it. And even though I don't think Coppola nailed it completely in Bram Stoker's Dracula, I think at least that movie has more of a, like I can see what he's trying for more, like the vision of it feels a little more honed in.
I feel like the vision of this movie is all right there. I think it's really, I think there's just no deepness to it. I think it just doesn't laid out in front of us. One thing I note here, and I'm skipping ahead a little bit, which is to say, after he talks to Aidan Quinn, we'll still get to Aidan Quinn.
I forgot was in this movie.
Yeah, I did too. He, after he's like found in the Arctic by this other obsessive guy who's traveling to the North Pole and is willing to risk all of his crew's life to get there. He's like, let me tell you my story. I'm Victor Frankenstein. Here's what the fuck's up with me. Yeah. And we go into this whirlwind montage thing where it takes so many scenes and so many minutes before the movie slows down at all. It's just like short scene, music.
It's edited so bizarrely.
But Eric, and I'm not saying that it's a 1-to-1 here. That's most Christopher Nolan movies. Most Christopher Nolan movies are like really short scenes and kind of montagey. And most of the
and Branagh's become a Nolan player, by the way.
Yes, he has. He was the villain in Tenet, and he'll be in Oppenheimer as well. So,
and he was in Dunkirk.
That's right. And that's when he said, "We're done here, Kirk," and that's why it's called that movie.
That's right.
Okay, so, but yeah, here it's just it just makes it harder. And again, this was part of Bram Stoker's Dracula too, and maybe it's because of the text that these books come from, and they kind of have to like montage the shit out of things. They did that. Coppola did it too, which is like you breeze past like this weird way before you actually slow down. Now in Dracula, we slowed down usually when we got to Mina and Mina and Dracula. Mm-hmm. Like when they would have scenes, we would actually sort of have a timeout and a time to breathe because the movie, this was the focus of the movie. Everything else was like sped up. Here, we don't really slow down until Victor's off to medical school and he actually starts talking in earnest about marrying Elizabeth. And then we get that sort of time out, and it's the longest scene of the movie so far, I think, because it goes by so quickly.
But even like, so the opening was really jarring to me because a few things. One, Aidan Quinn, but also more so, it looks really artificial, like very obvious sets, and like everyone's got like obvious like fake snow on their beard. By the way, there's scenes in this movie that are like in beautiful outdoors areas. It's not all like that, but they're clearly not in the real Arctic in the opening. and his wig looks fake and just doesn't sell as real. But also it was very strange because I specifically remember he's talking to Aidan Quinn and we're cutting back and forth a little bit, and we come back to Aidan Quinn who's like shaking Branagh. He's up against the wall, and we didn't see the setup to that. So it's like we're missing pieces even within the scenes.
Yeah.
Of like, how do we get to the point where he's like physically manhandling
and that's
him?
that's what I felt in Dracula too, which is like something's gone here.
This one even more. I mean, I totally understood what you meant in Dracula, but it's like this is that even on steroids. You know, it's like it's really doing that.
It's also weird because we open with, I assume, well, the fact that I watched this with captions said Mary Shelley. So it's like Mary Shelley from Beyond the Grave is narrating, which is weird because so the character of Mary Shelley is reading a passage, I assume from her book, which is addressing the intent of the story and addressing the reader directly. And then it goes into a crawl, which is weird about the time. And then we get captain. And then we almost get a little in media res thing happening here, except it's the whole movie, which is we get the bookend, the Arctic bookend, which is it's sort of decades later. And well, from when we flash back, like, why do we even flash back to 1773 when he's a boy? Like, why? I don't know.
The only reason is to show, like, hey, here's your sister you're going to fall in love with.
This is the weird part. I was thinking in my head, which is where I do my thinking. What if somebody came into this movie 10 minutes late and missed the part where they're like,
she's adopted.
Elizabeth adopted? and then later on, it's like, well, how does a brother love a sister? And then they kiss.
Yeah.
Like, brother and sister no more, now lovers.
Yeah, that is funny. I actually was reading because I was, did a little bit of, Wikipedia hole going through it last night. And I was reading about how in the first edition of the book, Elizabeth is his first cousin, same circumstances, like family dies, she's taken in. So they were like, it was blood incest. It's still icky, but it was blood. And then actually later editions changed that to be like, oh, she's just this girl they took in. But
they don't explain why they, of all the people in that entire area, they adopted her. It's just she's an orphan. So, all right, but they grow up together. Okay, so we've got this captain. And
by the way, the weird thing, with that opening is, the actress who plays his mom, it's a little boy playing him in that opening, but then they flash forward and she's still playing his mom, but she's only 8 years older than Kenneth Branagh. So
well, again, like Tom Hulse and everyone else at that school is probably 30s and 40s playing 20s or something like that. And then Hugh Bonneville showed up and then vanished from the movie, where he seems like he's going to be a foil or sort of a hurdle for Victor in medical school. And he doesn't. I don't know what you're talking about production design wise, Eric. I don't know why you weren't blown away by John Cleese's curiously false teeth. Like, why? I don't know why that creative decision was made to change his mouth, but
I just like looking at my notes, like, why is Ian Holm shirtless as he tries to deliver the baby?
It's so that he can get blood all over his hairy chest.
Right, okay.
Well, I should also mention with Wolf last week that we had Sybil Fawlty last week, but Basil Fawlty this week.
Eric. Oh my gosh!
We're actually doing a Fawlty Towers run. We didn't even know
it's a Fawlty time. It's we jump around a lot in this movie.
Okay, so he's found in the Arctic, and he's like, I've been tracking this thing, and there's a moaning feller out in the ice that kills dogs. Boo! We already don't like him. And he's like, your dogs are already dead. I'm like, like, why would he kill the dogs? He seemed like a nice guy, except that he hates Victor, really. But
sure.
He seems like a guy. He seems like an abomination who would like a good dog. But I guess if they were going to attack him, who knows? And he's like, let me tell you the story of a man named Jack.
Let me tell you a story of Frankenstein.
and poor mountaineer barely kept his family fed.
It's so like purpose, this purposeful melodrama, but it just doesn't. It's very campy because it's like, my name is Victor.
Well, there's also there's a point in the movie before he brings the creature to life when he's all like shirtless and ripped and like pulling on pulleys and ropes and levers and stuff like that, where he does look gross, like when Elizabeth actually comes to visit him and he's like really sweaty and gross and like in his dirty shirt. And I'm like, okay, he's gross. But he usually doesn't. Like he usually looks very pretty.
Sexy Frankenstein.
Well, here's the thing. Like a guy who's spent months tracking this creature into the Arctic, and he shows up and he's got a pristinely shaved and trimmed beard, his face is a little red, which I think is supposed to denote the harsh winds outside, but he should look gross and fucked up. And he doesn't, because this movie, he's kind of giving himself a heroic hero sheen. Even though he knows it's a tragedy story, he's not going to let himself look unseemly and unhandsome.
It's very odd when he just drops dead at the end, because it doesn't seem like he was on death's door.
Again, he just seemed so okay. So he said, "I'm so tired," and then I'm like, "Did he die? Is this how he dies? I don't remember." And one of my favorite parts of this movie, and again, maybe I'm just looking at it from like the Room sort of way, which is like when Justine is looking for William, the little kid who's been killed. And she's like, "It's so late and I'm so tired." Like she says these things out loud, and then she immediately just falls into a bale of hay and goes, "Me, me, 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 me." Like she just goes to sleep. And I'm like, he's like, "I want to keep looking, but I'm so sleepy." And then like she wakes up and the mob is immediately hangs her so quick.
I know. That is such a
but that's just this universe, Eric, because to be fair, the mob also immediately attacks the creature when he goes into town.
I know. It's like, I get the angry mob as like a trope of Frankenstein, but these people just seem like they're
so fast. And my God, it's also like, why does he want people to live forever? They're terrible. Like humans are terrible. Why does he want immortality? Look at these mobs.
Well, also it's just funny that he says, "Mother, you should never have died. No one need ever die." Yeah. I'm like, do you just want like the world to become overpopulated? Like there's just everyone lives forever?
That's the weird thing, is like later when I think he's talking to John Cleese or Tom Hulse or somebody, and he's like, he's not just being like, we can free people from diseases, but he says like live for people who can be with each other forever.
Right. This doesn't seem sustainable, Victor. But I mean, I guess we're setting up the fact, because I'm jumping ahead here, but the fact that he so quickly says, "Oh my God, what have I done?" when he brings the creature to life.
Not only does he say, "Oh my God, what have I done?" He says, "This journal must be destroyed tomorrow." And goes to sleep. He's like,
everyone has narco sleepy in this movie.
That's so narco sleepy. And that's why when the creature takes the gross robes or something, the journal's still in there, because he didn't destroy it right then. He was
apparently has fucking giant pockets in that robe too, by the way. Because that's it's not a small journal.
And it's like
coffee table book journal.
It's kind of like basically it's like a Harry Potter style like tent, which is like or a sack of carrying or something.
Right. Hermione's bag that just
okay, so Victor's a little boy and he loves his mother, and she calls him the wonderfulest boy in the world. And then everyone's dancing, and they always cuts back to dancing. And Elizabeth is this poor girl, and you could see something's up with Justine and her mom, and the mom is mad because I guess you can infer that she always thought Justine would wind up with Victor and she'd have it in with the family. But once Elizabeth showed up, it's kind of like, oh boy, I guess they're going to get married, like 15 years from now or whatever. And so then it jumps ahead. And again, he's supposed to be probably a 20-year-old or 20-something-year-old, and he's way older than that, Victor Frankenstein.
Yeah.
And is like, now he's become super studious, and his mom's like, "You need to play and remember when you like fireflies." But then she like dies immediately,
and dies very posed when when you see her corpse laying there. Yes.
Giving birth to his younger brother.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he's super upset. And even during the, again, no subtlety in this film whatsoever. During the labor delivery scene, a lightning strikes the tree in the courtyard.
Yeah,
and that destroyed tree stands there like throughout the rest of the movie. And let's see. Okay, so then it cuts 3 years later, and after 3 years, everyone's still reeling from shirtless, bloody Ian Holm.
You don't recover quickly from that.
Yeah, you don't. It's like what is he recovering from more? His mother's death or that? Who's to say? 3 years later, he's visiting the grave marker of his mom, and that's when he's like, no one need ever die, and he's like determined that he's like, this is a great idea. This is right. I am a rich white guy, and no one should challenge me on this. And you know what? Elizabeth doesn't even. Well, to be fair, she doesn't know the full breadth of his madness or his what he's trying to do, because she's just like, there's a lot of like, I have important world things to do, and she'll be like, I'll be waiting here until our wedding night, and then
it's making me think of Army of Darkness. You would understand things with molecular structure.
I mean, honestly, she wouldn't, but I don't know what she does.
Right.
They Helena Bonham Carter's great. She usually adds a lot to every movie she's in. There's nothing to her character here except that she likes to dance and she loves Victor Frankenstein. There's no extra element there.
She has no inner life. Yeah.
They couldn't even give her a thing with like, Elizabeth, you and your butterflies. Like, they don't even have that much to give her. Except that she likes reading his letters and gets mad when he stops sending them. That's about all we know about her. So he's playing around.
At one point, she will passionately throw books into a trunk when she's going to leave. That part.
I guess she's a reader.
Yeah, she is a reader.
Which makes me hate her now. So she, okay, so then he like takes them all into the field outdoors with the kite, and he does like electricity experiments. And
that part was very pretty because they obviously shot on a real pretty cliff.
But then there's also, it does have effects in it, like the fake
very
cloud lightning and
effects,
the finger zaps and stuff.
The very strange. I don't know. Has that ever happened? Where like, oh, we just all observed. Like,
I don't think that's a thing.
Powers?
No,
yeah,
I think this is when we
either.
start dabbling into pseudoscience and like. Thor would say, you call it science, we call it magic or something. Or when you call magic, we call science, or whatever he says.
Lightning fingers scene is where I put my notes. This movie is exhausting me. With the shaky cam and them all running around to set up, and everyone's like, ooh, we're going on an adventure. Like, they're all helping him set up. And it's all so fanciful. And then this is when he goes, how do you feel, Elizabeth? Alive! They're obviously doing these in jokes on things,
which is the thing. So they did get lightning in here, and they did get the alive with the lightning. Now, lightning is specifically from the original movie, I believe, because it's not in the book. He does not reanimate a dead body with lightning in the book, and so he does not here either. I don't think electric eels were in the book either. I think that was just to make it not lightning. I don't know where he gets these eels. I don't know how he built any of that stuff. It's not quite on the level of how did Riddler build his entire bad guy island in Batman Forever, but it's close. And again, so then we've got the gala because Victor's leaving for medical school, and this is when we get this. The lightning scene and this scene are probably the first time we've started to slow down a little bit and have actual scenes that last more than a page.
Even though within the scenes, as I said, the editing's still super quick and running around, and but you're right. The movie itself.
Those who came in late to this movie back in 1994 and missed the adopted sibling part probably retched when they were like, how do brothers and sisters say goodbye? And then they kiss like they're in
incest porn was invented.
They kiss like they're in a Folgers commercial.
Right. Are you my sister, friend, lover, wife?
Yes, but that's the thing is like it's not just the kiss. Then he proposes, and then people will be like, "What the fuck is happening in this movie?
What is this movie about?"
So
this guy is a freak.
So then
she stays
behind. He actually wants her to go with him, and she's like, "No, I'm going to make this house livable." I don't know what she does. Like when we get back to the house, did she do anything to change it? I don't know. But she's like,
the staircase is still unsafe. That's all we know.
She did not put a banister on that staircase. And then he rents this attic space, which is going to be the infamous laboratory. And there's a dog who likes him, and that never comes back because he even puts the dog in the letter.
That's right.
The Hugh Bonneville never comes back. Maybe he ran off with the dog. I don't know. I expected the dog to die, but I guess the movie didn't quite need any more dog deaths. That's fine. Then we start getting into the classes, and Victor is a pompous, outspoken ass right from the get-go. Doesn't even go beyond the first class without saying, but what about these philosophers and stuff?
And getting into a big row with his professor.
Yeah, and it's funny because the professor is like, we only look for a little bit. I'm like, this professor's making sense. He's like, look, we deal in hard science here, not, crazy theories and things. He's like, I'm glad you did your own research, Victor, but we here are going to follow Dr. Fauci's recommendations too. But then Victor, because at first you're like, oh, Victor's a loony. But then Victor's like, hey, pretty soon we can do organ transplants. All these things that were just around the corner, per se, in the field of medicine and surgery. Because right now vaccines are still new. So much so that the man who would become the bulk of the creature at the end, played by De Niro pre-death, is an staunch anti-vaxxer,
right?
Who screams from the gallows that doctors are murderers, and it's very, very, very not relevant to today. So
yeah, that's right. That's in the funny intros here. John Cleese obviously introduced shot like he's in a film noir with the lighting across his face and he's in the shadows. And Tom Hulce playing a lot of annoying guys I went to Emerson with, because he's like, I'm Henry Clerval and I'm completely crazy. I'm like, fuck you if you introduce yourself like that to me.
But but let's not forget too, he's gonna become a doctor for the chicks, Eric.
That's right.
He's also doing it to score some chicks.
He does a completely, again, he was directed to do this. It wasn't like Holst just did this, but he has a very over-the-top scene where he flutters his eyes and faints.
Yes, during the brain removal part.
Yes.
I also just want to commend this movie for the last time we see him, he's screaming and crying on the staircase. And then we never return to what happened.
He literally seems to be responding to Victor yelling "yes" by screaming "no" down the stairs.
But yeah, I guess he just went on to become a traumatized yet successful doctor. Who knows? I hope he got out of the mansion. The entire thing burned down.
I hope he's getting laid.
I hope he's like, you're right. I should have been in this for the chicks. I lost myself for a minute, became a real doctor. Now I know what it's actually about. Getting laid. Get McKinley laid.
But yeah, just look, a lot of these movies we talked about, it's like, a couple of early ones we talked about were creepy and had some spooky, scary stuff, but most of these weren't even trying for that. But this one, because it's played such at like this just in your face way, like the scene with the what's like the ape hand, where they make the ape hand come to life.
Yeah.
And it's like, even the way it's all shot like super stylized, super like, the zoom ins, almost like Raimi-esque, but you don't feel like he's got that purpose behind it. But it's all so campy. And it's like, that's just like, obviously he just decided to go all, it's weird because it's campy, but without feeling that intent. I don't know. It's hard to explain like why this doesn't sell for me.
I think you're going to talk yourself
I can
into
get
liking
into
this movie.
I can get it. I love intentional camp sometimes, but this movie just I don't understand
Eric,
tonally
he
what it's
creates
going.
a super soldier frog.
He does, which also never really goes. I love that.
The handshake, the ape handshake, and
I've brought a living creature back to life. Well, I'm going to leave the room now. It instantly smashes the thing with its.
I hope that frog came and saved Tom Hulce's character from the burning mansion at the end. And it's like, come with me. He's all grown up now and he's super strong. And he's like a Battletoad. But like,
he's a Thor frog.
Well, the thing is that they want to, because I don't know, there's very little trust with the audience with this movie anyway. But like, they really want to let you know that this monster, this creature that Frankenstein is going to create, is going to be very strong. So the handshake, the super soldier frog, the winter soldier frog, like kicking the petri dish and stuff like that. They're like, guess what? This guy's gonna be strong. We didn't even need that. We would just assume, based on all of our knowledge of Frankenstein's monster, that he was going to be that anyway. But whatever.
Or if we don't have that knowledge, we can learn like Victor does.
Victor's out here creating Annie-Men for Counter Earth with this frog.
Yes.
Okay. Let's get into. Let's see. De Niro winds up killing John Cleese's character. John Cleese, interestingly cast for this movie. Wish he didn't have the fake teeth, but like rarely see him in like just a dramatic small role, you know.
There's also at least one part when he's talking about because they resulted in abomination. I'm like, that scene doesn't even sound like him. Other parts sound like him, but I swear to God, it sounds like they like dubbed him in that scene with some other guy's gruff voice.
I mean, it's possible, but the fact that he goes through a movie and he doesn't have one witty line.
Oh, no.
Like Van Helsing, for the most part, I guess you could say is a dramatic character in Dracula, but like he's just full of quips.
Yeah,
you know, and witty, and John Cleese in this movie gets no quip, like not one.
Right, especially since we do have Tom Hulce being wacky right next to him. So,
what's Tom Hulce doing these days? I know he still acts, but yeah, obviously he was Amadeus in the big Oscar movie on Amadeus, Milos Forman's Amadeus, and he was also in Parenthood. What else was he in, Eric? Tom Hulce. Those were his two. What would people know him from?
Those would be the two big things I think they would know.
That's it? Those are the two big things for poor Tom Hulce?
Those are the two big things, yes.
I don't know. I guess
Didn't he voice the Hunchback or something? Wasn't he at Disney?
Oh, okay. That sounds right. I've never seen that Disney film, but yeah. Sounds...
I am correct. He is Quasimodo in The Hunchback of Notre Dame. Yeah.
Okay. And...
That's
I guess
3
he
things.
Also did theater.
That's enough.
It is enough, I guess, for the most part.
The funny thing, I'm glancing at his filmography. He didn't do that many movies. I think because he did a lot of stage.
He does do a lot of stage.
Yeah, so it's like when you look at most of his credits are in the 80s and early 90s, and then it's like very scattershot. He was in Jumper.
And he did a couple years before this. He did do Hamlet on stage. So yeah. Oh, that's right. He was in the stage version of Few Good Men before it became a movie. Okay. So yeah, Ian Holm. Everyone else we know. Aidan Quinn too. Our list. We won't go into his filmography, but listeners would know him from a ton of things. And I think that's it. I don't know. I felt like I should have known who played Justine more, but I don't think she did a lot. She just seemed very familiar.
One thing I did notice when I was looking at people's credits was Ian Holm and Helen Bonham Carter had worked together just 4 years before this in a movie I forgot existed, which is the Hamlet starring Mel Gibson and Glenn Close.
Oh yeah. Wait, which is Bonham Carter was in that? Who did she play?
Yes, I think, obviously a smaller role, but it is funny to me. I'm like, oh man, yeah, it's just strange to me that there were big movies of Hamlet 6 years apart, because Branagh would do his version in 96.
Yes. So and Branagh's version, both of them are great Hamlets, I think. From Hamlet movies, I think they're both great. Branagh's had a very particular, very unique and cool production design to it. The Mel Gibson Hamlet was more pedestrian looking, but it was still a good Hamlet. Who directed that Hamlet?
Zeffirelli.
Who is that?
What's his face? The Italian director.
I don't know.
1990. Wasn't he the guy who did Franco?
If you say so, I don't know this guy.
Yeah, didn't he do Romeo and Juliet in the 60s? Yeah. Come on, Jesus Nazareth.
This fucking guy.
You don't know who he is. Whatever.
You could have told me Mel Gibson directed it himself in the movie.
Didn't, though.
I know he didn't. I know. Okay. Back to Frankenstein. So yeah, there's a cholera outbreak. Elizabeth actually goes to see Victor because he stopped writing letters, and this is around the time that Walden got killed, and it's one more person he wished he could save, and then he gets full onto his like immortality kick, where it's like another person have to die? Meanwhile, the entire city's dying outside, and he doesn't give a shit. But Walden gets stabbed by this ne'er-do-well with one leg, because Victor has to actually take a different leg to replace the missing leg on De Niro's character. He takes Walden's brain. He's doing all of his electric eels experiments and stuff like that. And then Elizabeth pleads with him to come home, and he refuses. And she's even like, let me help you. Let me just stay here and help you. He's like, no, you can't see what I'm doing. Don't go in my room. So, but then comes the
And then very melodramatic when her running through the crowd, being like, ah! Like when she's like, he's crazy and I have to leave.
What do you want to do? Run through there normally? This is
Not in this
Kenneth
movie.
Branagh's Mary Shelley's Frankenstein.
Yeah. That would be great if that were the full title. Oh my God. I would love that. Especially because the way they actually show the title is funny at the beginning, because Mary Shelley's is coming towards you, but then Frankenstein comes even quicker, like passes Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. But it'd be funny if Kenneth Branagh's name was even bigger and like past.
And then we pull back and it's all on side of Kenneth Branagh, like,
and it's like him shirtless holding all the words.
He's just like splayed out like a shirt open.
Like Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum in Jurassic Park. It's
Yes.
just like,
hello, welcome to my movie.
So then we've got the it's a live scene, which is the big moment of the movie when he actually infuses life into this cobbled together bits and bobs of the cadaver. He's got Walden's brain,
giant embryo looking thing above, and yeah.
I don't know why he needs to cut open the face the way he does.
Because I have a lot of questions. I mean,
because he had to do that with Helena Bonham Carter.
I have no idea why, especially her.
Yeah,
like,
he had to do it to Helena Bonham
here?
Carter too, and I'm like, why did he mess up her face? It was just
why did he give her different hands? I'm very unclear on what's going on.
I don't know what's going on either. And also Justine's body wasn't good enough previously, but now it seems fine. Or it's like because he wouldn't give the creature Justine as a Bride of Frankenstein, but he's like, but I'll take her. I'll take some of her. How about that? Okay. But yeah, so electric eels come through this tank and and he steals amniotic fluid from a woman giving birth. Birth she probably dies during, by the way, because of the time. But
but also a very funny moment, because literally it's like the amniotic fluid into a bucket. The woman picks it up, walks in. It's like he's like right there. He's like boop. He's like he is ready for that.
He pays her too. He pays her off. He's
no,
like,
I'm saying it's just like this is like just walking by to grab a pack of cigarettes at the corner store. It's like give him a bucket.
Well, normally people just drink that, so they're like,
sure.
All right, so it works, and again, he's shirtless. He's all lean and mean there, like looking like he's ready. Every shot is ready for a poster. But then De Niro and his scarred up, pale, pasty carcass in the fluid, just rolling around,
slipping around,
slide melting all over the place.
It is so funny. The two of them sliding and slipping around is so comical.
And then he accidentally gets like hoisted up on chains.
And I swear to God, I thought they were gonna have like little birds fly around his head when the thing hits him on the head.
It's just like, and so Victor immediately, like you already said, is just like, oh, he's gross.
Yeah.
I made a disgusto. Never mind. I didn't realize I was going to make.
I didn't realize he'd be so grody.
An oily uggo. I didn't know. I guess I'll go back home now. It sucks.
And I won't. Yeah, well, I won't even bother finding what happens to this thing. Like,
yeah, I'm just going to leave him here. I mean, I guess we can assume he thought the guy died up there or something, but whatever.
I don't know. That seems stretch.
And then we get the separate journeys, right? He goes back home and they're going to get married as soon as he comes back. And the creature goes off and like eats street food, immediately gets chased and beaten, but also fights back, showing his strength, like throwing these villagers around. But like hides on a dead body cart and takes it out of town. And then he finds the cottage in the woods out with the blind man and his family, or I should say, a couple, and one of their, I don't know whose father he is, the blind man. Which I can't see without always thinking of the Gene Hackman scene in Young Frankenstein.
Same here, yeah. Which is parodying the 1930s, but yes, the Bride of Frankenstein, but yes, is really kind of took over. Also, by the way, this is when Victor is like, hey, Elizabeth, I'm no longer doing that crazy shit. Everything's good.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, good. We can get married as soon as I get back. And I guess, assumed it's a few months because at a certain point there's snow on the ground.
It's Christmas. They leave him a Christmas present.
Oh, that's what it is. It's the cookies, right?
Yeah.
And
he's the good spirit of the forest, Matt.
look, I was sad. It's sad for him when like he's like friend,
But
Jube Jube.
even the way it's staged is so silly because he's hiding right around the corner.
Oh my
and
God.
the second they close the door, he runs over. Like if they open the door right then, like they would
I know,
see him.
but what about the amazingness of when they find all the food that with his super strength he picked for them, and they were just like, again, I'm so tired. It's me. Like they can't pick any more turnips for their family. He goes out and does the farming of, I guess, 3 people instead of 2, and gives them all the food they couldn't pick themselves, and they're, celebrating it and being so happy about it, and he's just like right there in the little window smiling with his little head.
You should give a thumbs up.
I
also like how it all goes to hell. I love in movies when you have a character like the landlord or the guy representing the landlord, the guy who shows up and is like,
it's like a debt collector.
Horrible.
Yeah.
I'm gonna grab this little girl. I'm gonna knock a blind man down. I am the fucking worst person you've ever met in your life. So
well, it's easing us into the creature's murdering, which is like let's immediately murder someone who's clearly terrible.
And even the blind man's like, thanks. Like that guy
he's like, thanks. That guy was the worst.
Right.
You know what he did? He knocked a blind man down. Me. Right. And then he's like, he's basically, I'm glad later on when he's talking to Frankenstein, he's like, I learned to read and speak quickly because it wasn't so much learning. Like there's parts of his brain.
That. Look,
and he's like,
I don't like much of this movie.
You like that?
I'll give you that. And by the way, I will say, yes, I agree that De Niro as the creature is like the one thing you can kind of grasp onto in this movie because everything is operating at such a heightened level. He's giving a more down-to-earth, empathetic performance as this bigger than life creature.
He's finding out who he is and like slowly bring as the weeks go on, he can read actually what's in the journal and find out where he came from, so that by the time look, in a way, he's like Max Cady. He's like, I didn't know how to read when I went into jail, but by the time I left jail, I read all the law books.
I wish there was a scene where he went to see a play and was laughing like and Victor's sitting there all uncomfortable. And they, by the way, they also do a good job, I'll say, of I think because De Niro is only like 5'10", of making him look like a hulking, like they give him these big robes. They use angles to make it seem like he's like a tall hulking creature. So good on them for that. There,
you like that.
That's it. That's it. That's all
you liked it. Oh, you didn't like when okay, so he finds out who he is, the family casts him out, and then when because I don't know, they come home and they think he's the one who attacked their daughter, so they're driving him out, even though the father's clearly like, no, it's not, they're not listening to him. But like he goes and he cries in the forest and is very sad. And then he realizes, oh, I can show them who I am by giving them the little flower back that they gave me. Like, look, I'm the good spirit. But they left so quickly.
Yeah.
We have to leave here. And then but then he's so mad about it that he looks in the journal and he finally reads everything and he burns the cabin and he's like, I will have
revenge, Frankenstein. And he puts out his arms. And even Bobby D can't sell that.
Come on. Okay. He walks all the way to Geneva.
Which he says, I put in my notes, thanks, monster, because he goes, Geneva. So we know he reached Geneva.
Oh, yeah. He's like, here I am in Geneva. And then he immediately starts causing havoc. He kills young William. Mm-hmm. Frames Justine. I don't even know if he intended it to, if he's that smart.
I don't know
but man, that mob worked quickly. And what was to be Victor and Elizabeth's wedding day turns into this carnival of tragedy where two people are killed. And he just appears to Victor right there in the courtyard in the lightning. And he's like, meet me in the sea of ice, which at the time I'm like, it can't be the North Pole already, but what he meant was the mountains. Now, here's the funny part. Where? Like, what? Like,
no, I
know. Victor goes, he's like, all right, I guess they're going to the mountains. Did he have to climb that giant cliff? Like, what was he just
I don't know.
Keep going until the guy just, it's like, all right, that's far enough.
But I did type, wee, because he gets tossed down a giant ice tunnel.
But I guess so. The thing is, I guess he's like, you need to go until you reach the fun ice slide that I have set up for you.
It's really quite enjoyable. Also, what's up with Victor saying when he finds him after the ice slide fun, he goes, "You do speak." I'm like, yeah, he fucking talked to you. He told you to come here. That was when you first heard him speak.
All right, I'm willing to admit not everything about this movie is perfect. Okay, so and this is when he's like, I want a girlfriend.
Like Tom Holtz.
Yeah, I'm only in this creature business for the chicks. Get my creature laid. So, and he's like, but that's the thing. He says, I want a companion, but then he's like, a female. And he does like the circle and the finger through the thing. He's like, I know what I'm talking about.
And Victor's like, I haven't a clue.
He's like, what does that mean? I haven't gotten to my wedding night yet. I don't know what that is.
I haven't had sex with my sister yet. How would I know?
He's basically like, I'll leave everyone alone. We'll go off on our own. We'll never see anyone again. This is the part too where it's like, obviously he walks through ice. He doesn't need anything. He is stronger, faster. Who's to say maybe eventually smarter, but he is probably immortal. Like, so if he and the Bride of Frankenstein went off to the North Pole and just decided to be away from humanity, he's like, we will live forever away from everyone. It doesn't matter. And that's where it's like, he did create probably an immortal being here. Whether he can do that to someone else. So the whole thing is like, the guy who came back is not Walden. It's his brain, but this is a new being that he's created. So even when at the end, when he's like trying to get Elizabeth back, if it based on the rules of this movie, it shouldn't have been Elizabeth who remembers anything, because it should be a new being.
Because it seems like the creature,
that would have been Walden who came back then, right?
Like there's that thing, like, yes, okay, they explain why you can play the flute and stuff, these like trace memories, but he doesn't have like, he's not the personality of the person he was before. That seems to be like a new thing.
Right. And he's also like, I have so much love in me, but I have nowhere to put it. It's much like Magnolia. And he's like, but I also have a lot of
is the loneliest love.
I also have a lot of rage. And he's like, you'll never see us again. And Victor's like, all right, good deal. It sounds like a good deal. You've already created 2 deaths. I will do this. But then he immediately refuses once he brings him Justine's body.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. Maybe I guess it makes sense, but whatever. I only say why because it causes everything else in his life to go to hell just because he refused to do that. If he did that, Eric, if he did that, he could have had sex, is what I'm saying. Like, he could have actually consummated his marriage on his wedding night instead of hosting guards so he can safely fuck. But yeah. So anyway, it is funny too, especially given how their wedding night ends, that they still go through the motions of having like the trailer ready, like sensuality scenes.
Yeah.
You know, of like him kissing her neck from behind and holding her and all that stuff, where it's like all the the bells and whistles of a sex scene that never actually happens. But they wanted to be there. I don't know, maybe because of the Dracula element, and they wanted to sell
I think so.
the romance.
I think they're probably trying to tie into that. Yeah.
But man, yeah.
I wish they just done that with the creature and when she's like the bride.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, it rips out her heart and it's still beating. I remember very distinctly after seeing this movie just now, it was like, oh yeah, I do kind of, that stands out to me from when I watched the movie in the theater back in 94.
And then semi-comical of her falling onto the fire and setting on fire, and which I guess is supposed to set up that she'll look, more disfigured as the bride, but again, doesn't set up all the stitching on her face or any of that stuff. Like, okay, she should look burned. What the fuck's going on? Like, why did he do a bunch of random extra stitching that did not seem to be needed?
I don't know. And
her having her heart ripped out and then falling onto the fire makes me think I wish it had just been a whole Weekend at Bernie's thing after that. Like,
oh, I thought you were gonna say it was like a Nordberg style accident. Where it's like...
oh yeah, there's that. But then I just want her to, like, he accidentally drops her down those stairs, and she's just like, he's rolling down the stairs, and just go for it, go for it.
Oh, and I guess the creature killed the dad too.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so then he immediately brings her to reanimate her, and again, he was hesitant before, but now he's like reanimating her for him. He's like, now
yes.
I need a female. Like,
yes.
And we get the sort of really grotesque Helena Bonham Carter waking up into a new animated body. But this time, like, he had helpers. Like, there was that one dude who's not Tom Hulse who's like helping him put together the equipment.
Yeah.
Tom Hulse is screaming down on the staircase. We never see him again after this.
That's it.
And yeah, and then there's the whole thing where, like, he's dancing with her and she has to, like, choose because she's also
again, very silly and funny of like, she's mine. She said my name. She remembered.
Back
like...
from beyond, she is drawn to the creature. So again, there's this element of like,
yeah,
once you're reanimated, I don't know, you're into other reanimated people. Wow.
Yeah. And he's like, she's perfect.
And she's perfect. She's so hideous. And yeah, and he puts her in a bridal dress and all that stuff. But yeah.
And by the way, it's like, we should mention that the original novel does have the creature say, make me a bride, but she never actually is brought to life. So, no. But obviously the Bride of Frankenstein has made that such an iconic part of the movie. I mean, so you kind of like,
and this specifically, this part of resurrecting Elizabeth does not happen in the book.
No.
And so it is this movie kind of inserting a Bride of Frankenstein element into it instead of just saving it for the sequel, Eric.
The sequel everyone's going to want.
After they see this movie.
That's right.
She lights herself on fire when she realizes that she is a slight against God. And
then apparently when you're set on fire, you don't turn into the Human Torch, but she does, because when she runs and she's on fire, but everything she's touching these walls and they're just like bursting into flames. Like, it's like she is like just igniting things just by walking by them.
We don't know the rules of resurrection. We don't know how things work when you come back from beyond the veil, Eric. You are nitpicking. No, also Ian Holm mentioned early on that the entire house is built from asbestos. So,
we invented it. And we built it.
It's our family fortune.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah, she runs through the hall. The entire mansion collapses on fire, and then we get back to
maybe Tom Hulse dies. Maybe not. Who's to say?
Maybe he's saved by Winter Soldier Bucky Barnes Toad. We don't know.
Yes.
But we get back to Aidan Quinn and his adventures in the Arctic. And Victor just very unceremoniously passes away.
Time to die. So I was like, wait, huh? Is that it? He just died. Okay.
And then looking further, it says dies of pneumonia. I can't remember if that in the Wikipedia for this movie or the book. But Either way, none of it made it to the screen. So it's just like he died of red face.
He died of telling his long story.
Because he died from being sleepy. He's so tired, he says.
Very, very tired.
And then it isn't until the very end, because even then, when they're giving a funeral for... and then they find the monster crying. The creature is crying over his dead body in the cabin. They're giving a funeral. Yeah, he was my father. And then he's like, I love my dead gay dad. And then the funeral for Victor.
That's a reference to the motion picture Heather Is Everyone.
Is it? Or maybe it's Can't Hardly Wait.
Oh.
Aidan Quinn's captain is still dead set on going to the North Pole. And the crew are actually ready to rise up and form full mutiny against him. And it isn't until...
including his right-hand man, who is Smee in my favorite version of Peter Pan from 2003.
Oh, he's just always in a Smee role.
Yes.
So in this movie, his name is Smoo. That's weird. And then we can't even get out of this movie without an overblown action sequence as the ice starts melting and breaking away. and they have to get back on the ship, and the creature is like, no, and like decides he's going to kill himself with.
It's not, but it's a little, I mean, a lot of things in this movie are weird. Aidan Quinn tries to save him. He's like, come on, like he tries to get him on the ship. So the creature is like, humanity rejects me. But then Aidan Quinn's like, hey, you're cool. We'll come with us. But he's like, I'm done with men. I'm like, but this guy's being cool to you. Like, when I get on the ship with
you know
him?
what? Like, he's like, I'm done with you and your bad wig. And but the thing is that he's also obsessive.
Creature.
He's like, I don't want to go to the North Pole. And it isn't
Oh,
until...
I'm right. I'm lying, by the way. Smee was the blind man. Take everything back that I said.
Oh, well, fuck. Let's re-record all of this.
Everything.
All right. So the whole thing is that this all was just a way. This whole movie and this whole story was a way, was all done in service of Aidan Quinn's Captain Robert Walton, so that he wouldn't sail to the North Pole and kill everyone. Yeah. And it's all a big lesson. He's like, it's so funny because it's like, he's an actual explorer and, you know, of that era. And there was actually, you know, the Terror is a great miniseries that I recommend to people who want to watch horrible, supernaturally monstrous things happen to people, to British explorers as they try to cross the ice up north. And he's like an explorer, and he's not doing anything like that puts him in a direct clash with the Almighty here. Like, he's not like going against science. He's just trying to explore. And Frankenstein comes along. He's like, hey, I know you're trying to reach the North Pole and you're doing this in service of humanity, but let me tell you about how I brought people back from the dead.
right. How
and it just didn't work out for me. And it's like,
you know what that lesson is? People shouldn't do things.
People shouldn't do things. Right. No one should attempt anything. If that's your one takeaway from this entire long tale that actually killed me telling you, it's that you should just go back home. Okay,
doing stuff overrated, and then he dies.
So anyway, new things over it, other things over it. So that was sort
marrying
of
your sister.
I was trying to quote Happy Endings there. Hold on, where Penny was like decided that she was a hipster all of a sudden.
Sure.
And she was just doing hipster things, and she was like, man, now I can't find it. Anyway, it's very funny, and you should watch Happy Endings. Speaking of happy endings, the captain decides he's going to go home and not go to the North Pole, and his crew is ecstatic about it. Anyway, they're very happy because they don't have to kill him now.
We don't have to mutiny again.
Murder him and take over the ship. So, but yeah, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. Kenneth Branagh's
Mary Shelley's
Frankenstein
with Victor Frankenstein.
The best movie we've done so far, and I don't even mean in the '90s run. I mean since just the beginning of this podcast.
What a weird. This is I had not seen this movie at all since it would greatly disappointed me in the theater. I was curious to revisit it. I'm glad I revisited it to solidify that I'm okay not seeing it again. But yeah, it's also it's a behind the scenes. It is funny if you read the Wikipedia page, because like there's two credited writers, and the first writer, I know everyone had a miserable experience with this movie. And Darabont, it's very similar. It reminds me of when Joss Whedon would talk about Alien Resurrection, when they're like, it's not like they changed the entire story from my script. It's just everything tonally about the way they're approaching it is not at all the way, this was meant to be, or I had in my mind when I was writing it to do. Because even watching it, I'm like, I get on a story level, why it'd be, oh, this could be really compelling. Like, the crowd kills the woman who's innocent for the kid and all. But the way it's done in this movie, where like you said, it's like 2 seconds.
But I think, but it's all in execution too. I think, I brought up Christopher Nolan earlier. I think Christopher Nolan could have made those quick scenes very effective because he does it all the time.
Yep.
And no one is ever going to plug millions of dollars into this bizarre creative experiment, which is give the same exact script to 3 different directors and give them each $20 million to make the movie based off it and see what you get. Because again, like you said, so many different things can be born of the same script that you don't intend tone, especially, is a huge part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, yes, De Niro is the only one who's like trying to give it like legit weight, because everything else is just like, yeah, this like sort of cranked up thing that Branagh, for whatever reason, like decided this is the way he wanted to approach this.
And it kind of cut short his critical darling run.
Yes.
But which he would, again, the guy still has a big career, so it's not like. And I think I've said this on the podcast before. Speaking of Christopher Nolan, I really like Tenet. It's like a background movie for me now. So
I enjoyed Tenet as well, by the way.
All right.
That's our lesson. Tenet was fun.
Tenet's fun, but again, but it's funny. Here's the thing: when you see Branagh act and he's in Shakespeare, it makes sense. And then outside of Shakespeare, like a Victor Frankenstein, which is again a little more overwrought than usual, but even some of his delivery in Tenet, it's like I see the little gleam of Victor Frankenstein in there. You know, like there's just things that are just purely Branagh. You know, and that sometimes, most of the time, they work. Sometimes they do not.
No, yeah, I enjoy the I never know if we're saying this right. Poirot, how you say the character's name?
Poirot or
Poirot. I've enjoyed those movies. I enjoy them. I'm looking forward to
Poirot.
I'm looking forward to the third one.
I am too.
Which operate at a certain level. But yeah, this one was just not the right blend. Whatever he was going for here.
All right. Yeah, let's stop talking about Frankenstein now and go to sleep, like so many people do in this movie.
Sounds great.
All right. Until next time, everything is possible, but nothing is real, and no one need ever die. And Shakma.
Shakma!
Think about